The FBI was reading your tweets. And if it fell into the wrong bucket of truth and First Amendment speech, they tried to get it taken down by Twitter. One of the big issues is, I think, to go back, is I think this Biden document issue is really a Hunter Biden scandal at its heart. Because who would be using classified records in these various places other than someone like Hunter? That's my suspicion. But, you know, if you ask these questions, the big media purposely ignores you or attacks you. Or in the case of asking questions about the Hunter laptop, infamously suppressed the story. You had a media company, the New York Post, expose the Hunter laptop, and immediately big tech censored the story, Twitter censored the story, and it looks like the FBI was involved in that because they were warning Facebook and Twitter and such that the Russians are going to interfere, be on the lookout. And I think it was Zuckerberg who said recently, he said, well, you know, that we're being given this warning, and then the Hunter laptop story comes out, and we thought, well, that's what they were telling us about, so we suppressed it for them. And in the Twitter files, it's pretty clear the FBI was doing the same thing with Twitter, and it was even more explicit. They sent them some sort of classified material just the day before Twitter suppressed the New York Post story, which strongly suggests that the FBI was intervening again, because remember, the FBI was already suppressing the internal investigation of Hunter Biden just before the election. And then we know they were pressing Twitter to take down all sorts of other material in a way that would benefit Biden and hurt Donald Trump just before the 2020 election. And so all that's been exposed. These are admissions by Zuckerberg. This is an admission by Elon Musk's Twitter. These extraordinary Twitter files, which I hope you are following. They're some of the most important public policy documents in modern history being released because they document a past effort to successfully, in my view, interfere and direct an election, and an ongoing censorship effort that continues to this day by virtually every significant federal agency, from the White House to the CIA to the State Department to the NSA to HHS to DHS to the FBI to the DOJ to DOD. So we're not going to rely on Twitter to get all the documents out, even though Elon Musk is doing a great job. We're not going to rely on Zuckerberg to make an admission here and again because, you know, someone asked them the right question accidentally. Judicial Watch does its own litigation, does its own investigations to get the truth out. And so we have filed a federal lawsuit against the Justice Department, basically to get FBI documents on the big tech censorship scandal of the Hunter Biden laptop. The real election interference story. We filed the lawsuit for records of communications between the Federal Bureau of Investigation and social media sites regarding foreign influence in elections, as well as the Hunter Biden laptop story. So we filed the lawsuit. I think we filed it earlier this month. We began asking questions under the FOIA in August. It's been 5 or 6 months that the Justice Department has been ignoring the law. Now remember, that's the agency that's supposed to be enforcing the law. So who do I complain to? The Justice Department about their illegal activity and hiding records. Fortunately, under law, we can go to the federal courts and get our rights vindicated under FOIA. And so we're on equal footing with the Justice Department. You know, it's just 2 lawyers, 1 or 2 lawyers for Judicial Watch, and there's another lawyer trying to manage the case for the Justice Department. So in many ways, it's not David versus Goliath, it's Goliath versus Goliath. Because we're on the side of right, and we have tens of millions of American citizens behind our cause. And the Justice Department relies on the idea that no one cares about these transparency issues to try to get away with this secrecy. We ask for all alerts, notifications, advisories, foreign threat indicators, or similar records provided by any official employee of the FBI to any officer or employee of Meta, which is formerly Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media company, regarding the threat of disinformation disseminated by foreign actors related to any U.S. election. All records of communications between any official or employee of the FBI or any other officer or employee of Meta, Twitter, or any other social media company regarding the laptop reportedly used by Hunter Biden, any news media reporting regarding the laptop or its contents, and or the provenance of any information contained in any such reporting. Because you may recall there was this cadre of leftist national security officials who hated Trump, who, once the laptop story broke, immediately and dishonestly, in my view, signed on to a statement saying that it had all the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation campaign, even though factually, the New York Post, which is a long established record, was a paper established by Thomas Jefferson, had validated the sourcing of this. It wasn't a Russian disinformation campaign. And it's shameful that these were Trump agencies. And what had happened was the whole Russia disinformation lie, or Russia collusion lie, put out by Schiff and Company, pursued by Mueller and, to try to destroy Trump, it scared off all these Republicans. So they're like, oh, we're against Russia interference too. So they pretended it was a major issue when in fact everyone knew it was whatever activity they were doing with respect to elections was immaterial. And to the degree it was material, it was because they were helping Hillary. But I digress. Again, in October 2020, in the run-up to the presidential election, the New York Post was able to confirm that Hunter Biden's laptop, which was abandoned at a Delaware computer shop, contained embarrassing and possibly incriminating information about the Biden family. The Post story was censored by Twitter and other social media platforms despite its accuracy. Recent Twitter files, as I note, released by Musk, show that the FBI pressure on Russian disinformation led to the censorship. San Francisco FBI agent Elvis Chan sent 10 documents to Twitter's then head of site integrity, Yoel Roth, through Teleporter, a one-way communication channel from the FBI to Twitter, the evening before the release of the Post story. Intriguing, isn't it? Other Twitter files show the FBI pushed Twitter to also censor countless Twitter users who tweeted concerns and, quote, jokes. So if you joked about the election, the FBI was reading your tweet and trying to get you taken down. About election integrity. So the Twitter was engaged in the FBI was engaged in a massive censorship program run out of San Francisco and the Baltimore field office, approved by the 7th floor. And what did I mean by the 7th floor? FBI management. So the FBI was reading your tweets. And if it fell into the wrong bucket of truth and First Amendment speech, they tried to get it taken down by Twitter. And the other documents show they were actually paying Twitter to do this. $3.5 million at least. So it's not just Donald Trump who was a victim. You likely are a victim of FBI censorship. If you are out there tweeting truths or posting truths on Facebook, because we don't have the Facebook files. We don't have the Google files for YouTube. YouTube is still censoring Judicial Watch. Facebook is still censoring Judicial Watch. Facebook is allowing Trump to come back on after 2 years, despite improperly taking him down. And of course, the condition of his coming back on is that he has to restrict his own speech in a way that's in accordance with leftist, Democrat talking points that are quite helpful to them in the run-up to the election. I mean, this is election interference that hasn't stopped. And nor has the Biden administration stopped any of this communication process. And I guarantee you the FBI is still working with Facebook and Google to try to censor Americans. The FBI seems to have interfered in the 2020 election to help Joe Biden by encouraging big tech to censor Americans about the Hunter Biden laptop and other debates. And to add to the scandal, they're trying to cover it all up. Now, Judicial Watch is trying to break down the stone walls, smash the stone walls of obstruction here through the FOIA to get the truth. And I tell you, we have a demonstrated record of smashing those walls and getting the truth for you, the American people. And my view is the more truth that comes out, the more accountability there will be. And I think, you kind of see this. The House Republicans are trying to put forward just put forward a bill that would, again, reaffirm what I think is already current law that prohibits federal officials from working with social media companies to censor American citizens. They're making it explicit that that's absolutely prohibited, or at least that's what they're trying to propose. So we have a number of anti-censorship lawsuits that are ongoing. We have the lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security that was also using some sort of secret portal that I fear still may be open to try to censor American citizens. They had special relationships with Twitter and these other companies to take down material. And we know states were also using this portal to take down material, including material of judicial watches. The California Secretary of State's office had a video that we had posted on YouTube about election integrity matters just before the 2020 election that they took down at the request of the Secretary of State's office, who was working with a campaign operation or a campaign connected firm of Biden's. We have a civil rights lawsuit over that abuse of judicial watch, and yours truly. So, I mean, we have lawsuit after lawsuit on this. So we're not just complaining about it. We're going into court to hold up people accountable and get the full truth. Because the Twitter files are only the tip of the iceberg. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.